Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Angry, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we promised you more action between Atreides and Ort, and you're going to get it today on Astrono. Frank, who's bringing what to this fray?
Out on the left-hand side, in the blue, we have ourselves Atreides playing as Panzer Grenadier Division Feldenhaller. And on the right-hand side in red, we have Ort Fredrinka playing as Group Tourney.
So, Feldthornhalle, I mean, that is a new division for us to be checking out. Tell me more about them.
They kind of remind me a bit of 17th SS from SD4, and I guess an SD2 as well. Good recon, light vehicles, which is nice. A whole crap ton of Panzer Grenadier infantry. You got decent tanks with Stugs and Panzer IV support, and everything else is just pretty standard, not terrible, not great, but I think they're pretty fun, mechanized style division. Nothing too crazy in terms of individual units, but a good balanced mix.
Now, I said to you, off cast that I love seeing all of these various light vehicles. This actually, for me, kind of feels shades of like a 20th Panzer kind of thing, or not 20th, 21st.
Yeah, I do love seeing like light German vehicle play with all the armored cars and like half tracks and all of that, and use them to maneuver around and fight close quarters. It's one of my favorite sort of play styles in this game.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Now, early Russian breakout, kind of standard over here, right in the center. Lots of light troops. Stromovikis. We have, oh my gosh, I'm not going to attempt to get their entire name here, but with the TNT and the PP Shahs. A lot of troops in the center. Very meager breakout in the north and the south. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, the flanks on this map are always kind of hard to push. I mean, down south is usually you just never push it from either side, as it's a big open territory. And up north, you can kind of push into the town, and that's where we're going to be seen from Ort. But from Ort's side, like the resupply road to see out town is terrible. It can be a real pain in the ass to keep on the pressure. And hey, there's a plane coming in, and two more to counter it.
So this is an IL-4, by the way. This is the first time we've seen these guys. I feel like we don't see an IL-4 very often.
We don't see them often, but we've seen it like once or a few times before. But pretty lackluster rocket run, yeah.
Very, very lackluster. I think part of it was that bit of shock he was going through at the time. Struka, in the meantime, 37 mil, needs to get some proper targets. I think he's going to see that pretty darn close here soon. Maybe not. Also seeing the 85 mil, just way in the back.
Yeah, he's not going to have much time to really loiter about with the Stuka of 85 mil slapping him around.
Yak 9 in the meantime coming in trying to pick off on this IL-4, but oof, BF-109 takes him out anyway. And the Yak 9 is going to be engaged by a second BF-109. I think he's really worn out his welcome. I don't know that I really like the immediate Russian chances in the air if both those BF-109s are still up.
Yeah, this is like a crap ton of air power, and we're not even 4 minutes into the match, Con.
But I kind of like that. I mean, we talk about sometimes the air power that does get used or doesn't get used. Both guys have the opportunity to bring in at least 10 airplanes apiece. We'll have a nice mix, really, overall. We could be seeing some nice PE-3s today. Yikes, the Yak goes down, being hunted by the BF-109. But BF-109 might get picked off by the 85 mil, though, too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised how well his measurement to do. I mean, the 85 mil is not the best at shooting down fighters. It's better for deterring bombers, of course. But it's still a very good trade in the skies for Atreides.
Certainly does seem to be so far. Now, Ort's got himself at 13-11 over here, so one of those things for us that we don't really want to read too much into right now. But the early Russian infantry is certainly going to keep, I think, a lot of these light vehicles bottled up. And the if that doesn't work, the Su-85s will terrify him quite a bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Group Tourney is, it's a classic T-34 76 spam, but of course you do have those very decent amount of S-35s for those long-range firepower fights, but fortunately, his only real heavy armor he's going to have to go up against is Panzer IVs and Stugs, which T-34s are pretty capable at dealing with, especially at closer range.
Talk very quickly here about the idea of the Econ, because Econ, we're seeing a Maverick over here for Atreides, balanced for Ort. I know Redstorm plays havoc with the whole idea of kind of keeping timing is kind of comparative here. But is this one of those rare occasions where Mavic is a really good idea? Or is it just kind of like dumb luck?
I don't know, I mean, both economies are just pretty similar, all things considering. I don't think anything too crazy is going to happen between both players in that regard. It'd just be interesting to see if this turns into an attrition match, how well... I mean, infantry attrition will be fine, but tanks will probably favor a little bit in favor of Ortia.
It's entirely a possibility here. I heard some light machine gun fire. Looks like down to the south, the Sturmoviki's made a bit of a push across that open ground and realized it's probably not the best plan.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, we have a lot of very tentative movement, and I kind of understand that. This map is far more open than the other matchup fairs that we casted this week.
The main thing is that Ort does have that central forest position just north of the hill. That is such a key position to really do anything from Ort's side of the map. The better question is where he's going to attack. He does have that town on the far northern flank, which is nice. It's going to be hard to resupply it because the Germans have the forest covering the road into it. So I think maybe Ort's best bet is maybe try to play like the central hill position. We've seen time and time again how important having that central high ground can really be in destroying the momentum of the map.
So has a potential to be. I feel like this Zis gun down here to the south has a potential to be quite annoying as well. What the heck? Oh no, he's going to aim up the hillside perhaps? No, he's not. He's thinking better of it. Stuka, I don't know the Stuka's going to get a whole lot of work here still. Yeah, back off. Might be a better idea. So the Sasso is a slow start, but folks, we will tell you, we'll pick up quite a bit here in just a couple seconds. A couple T-34s being brought into the southern side of things. We have the makings of a conglomeration for a push. Oh, a Combroti squad, a couple of strokies in the meantime.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if a southern push does work, because it's always very hard to push the southern flank, because it's just trying to cross that big open ground area to get to the other side, but once you make the cross, so to speak, and get into the forest and have some sort of security it's not that hard to keep the push going. But right now, if a Pack 40 is shooting anything that comes along the road, it's going to be a bit of I was about to say uphill battle, but we're nowhere near the hill down south.
True. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Aufklärer could not give spotting to the MG34 on the Sturmovikis, but I guess the stealth is really going to cost them hassles there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, the two-man Sturmoviki squad is like exceptionally stealthy. Like you have to be very close range to even bloody spot him.
Very, very true. In the meantime, then we'll take another quick look over here at kind of again remind ourselves here that when we look at the optics bonus over here for Redstorm, 50% bonus over here at the same time. Trying to see if there's any other symbols or medals out here that we have to really concern ourselves with, either on the Feldholder side or otherwise.
Up Northfield, Khan, we are seeing a bit of a push into the town. We've got a lovely use of smoke to cover the German advance. And Atreides is going to be moving in with his light armor and Panzer Grenadiers. And there's not really a whole lot in this town. We just have mainly just reconnaissance troops here, nothing really too substantial to hold onto it.
Yeah, I kind of like this. I can't help but feel, though, this is actually just an attempt to lure the T-34s out of position. They are going to be able to engage at 250/9. And probably kill him pretty quickly, too, unfortunately. That guy's going to get shot in the backside. Yep, there we go.
Yep, he is going to be very dead. But if Atreides can get into his town, it will give him the 13-11 advantage, of course. And it is a pretty easy town to hold once you capture it completely. There's a lot of open space between you and the enemy, which you can shut down, especially with your German long-range guns.
Now, explain this for me in the meantime. Western side, we see a couple of strokes. We see the P4, a bit of a Kampfgruppe moving forwards. Probably to engage the Su-85s, but I don't know that I really like their chances, especially when you have the Elita unit out front.
Yeah, Su-85s dug into that forest is going to be, just in general, digging out forest is going to be so hard from Atreides' position. It's just usually not worth it. Oh.
Forgive me, everyone's holding fire, which I find absolutely fantastic. So say until they got really, really close, want to get those MGs over the front lines here. Really, really well done there. And that's an Andrayusha barrage coming on in. Good lord, that's terrifying.
Didn't do that much, though.
That's true. That is very true, but I'd still be terrifying with it, with an Andrayusha certainly engaging my positions. And that push into the town, it is stillborn, not entirely unexpected.
Yeah, or just has just enough long-range firepower with the resistant T-34s in the surrounding forest to deter anything once that smoke barrage actually cleared up.
Also worth mentioning, like I figured, P4 leader, down.
Of course.
So we have two Stugs that are just kind of like ambling forwards and back.
Yeah, let's not attack. That's probably a very good idea for those types. I mean, you just... Any pushing that center is not going to work unless he tries to play for the hill. I mean, both sides should probably be trying to play for the hill, really, as that is such a key point on this map. I mean, especially for Atreides, if he clears out that strokey DP position, you can actually start putting fire from the air onto that forest and actually have a pretty good chance of taking it and knocking out reinforcements.
True, but I don't know right now. I don't really like... I'm not a fan of the Stug moving up unsupported.
I'm not a fan of it either.
And that's why.
Yeah.
And that's why.
You need reconnaissance.
You need reconnaissance for one. Jeez, shooters killed in the meantime, so there's this gun. That's just engaging the Stugs and probably going to kill both of them in a second. But, yeah, good lord. Starting to get a bit more of an artillery collection over here to the northern side. 81 mils are trying to drop smoke on T-34-76s. One of the Su-85s goes down, I think, to the P4, which is probably the most valuable trade that P4 has ever pulled off in the history of this mod.
Actually, the Panzer IV is more expensive than the Su-85.
Oh no, I'm not pulling away from my statement on that one, just because really the P4s just don't do anything worthwhile. But they will continue to kind of engage as infantry moving into the northern side towards this town. Just unfortunately for the moment, until this smoke barrage comes in, not a whole lot can be done. You don't want to really push across this open ground with the T-34s still having some sight lines on that armor. So
yeah, I mean, lovely use of smoke here from Atreides. I'm always happy just seeing smoke play in general, and especially on a map like this with such open sight lines, you really want to try and have some movable cover.
I'm a little disappointed that Stuka's being sent into the fray. He's by himself, guys. No. Yep. Poor Stuka, we didn't deserve you.
Yeah. And so it's going to be really hard to even just use Stukas, I think, from now on this match. We have a decent anti-aircraft. Or we only have still one 85mm, but just the amount of fighters is just going to knock out Stukas.
Mortars being sent to engage the town, going to do very, very well there. Going to see barrage after barrage being moved forward. P4 driver killed. Jeez, MG-34s. Nothing is coming up Millhouse for the Germans so far, I'd argue.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised Ort has done such a good job in actually keeping hold of that town with not a whole lot of infantry, really. It's just because of just a few T-34-76s and Zis guns that's keeping the Germans at bay from their rather good defensive positions.
Now, we do get a gun jam, which is going to at least have the issues with those T-34s. And with the other Su-85 still kind of creeping back in the forest, might be an opportunity here for the Germans to slowly start clawing at this forest. Of course, as I say that, 2 more Su-85s moved in, as well as some recon troops. So, Castor's Curse being what it is, that may not be the case.
Yeah, we've seen just a whole lot of mortar fire back into that town, and more Panzer IVs being brought in there. Atreides is going pretty heavy into his armoured reserve so early on. I think he's definitely going to have tank problems once we get into the later stages of this map and match. And on this map, definitely having like long-term tank advantage is useful. Down south, the IL-4 is going to be coming in.
That was one of those moments, but I feel like that was a run that had to be made. You had to try to use the ME-109, because if that thing got an uncontested rocket barrage off, the 310s are absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. It's pretty similar to the German 210mm rockets, but nastier. I mean, just knocked out that one tank with absolute ease. I feel like he has a whole lot of infantry and tanks down south. It definitely feels like he has the forces here to do some sort of offensive maneuver. He just hasn't... I think he still needs a little bit more, but he could definitely make this work, because this would be a good sideshow to trying to deter what's happening up north.
Problem is that until these Su-85s clear out the Stokes to the west, his central position is going to continue to get hammered. Of course, as I say that, and they're going to start to engage and watch 2 kills. That's one.
That's a lot of Panzer IVs up north, man. Holy crap, that is like a company's worth of Panzer IVs at that point, man.
70, geez, yeah, it's a 7 or 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8, and shockingly enough, there's only one Zis gun here to really do anything about it. Of course, the Su-85s might be able to rotate around and catch them in the flank, so this could be amazing, or this could be god-awful, and I really don't know which one it's going to be.
Yeah, the Su-85s are in a defensive position, of course. Well, one by the Zis guns actually outside of the forest, but I don't know what those Panzer IVs can really do. I mean, they can trade somewhat well with the Su-85s, of course, but it's still not going to be preferential considering their defensive position. The Panzer Grenadiers at least should... I wouldn't say the Panzer Grenadiers will be enough to clear out the town, but there's some pretty good CQC troops in there still.
Once again, like we covered last time, guys, these are Krieg's veterans, by the way, so plus 10 accuracy, plus 10 rate of fire, plus 15% stress resistance. Couple that with the Pioneer Führer as well, and there's some really, really crazy stress resistance going on here.
Yeah. It's mainly just spotting out the Russian infantry for the German armor to do most of the work, and damn, PE3, I was not expecting that, buddy.
I'm not sure anybody else was either. Now, best thing that can happen, though, is they can kill this Stroki Komroti, because if they kill him, half the town surrenders.
Yeah. It's going to be one important unit.
Yes. Unfortunately, right now, they're not engaging him at all.
I don't think you can see him.
That would be a good reason for it. But it is 12-12, so Germans giving up some territory, taking back some other territory in the meantime, and these infantry squads are actually being pounded into the dirt by these P4s. I'm actually stunned to see this, and so are they.
Yeah, this is a great maneuver here from Atreides, finally getting onto that flag, giving him that 13-11, of course. It's just going to be about whether he can forge his advantage, so to speak. I mean, he's doing decent elsewhere, but I feel like his southern flank will eventually tip on over, especially if Ort now losing that northern area. I feel like he would just start putting in some more pressure down south.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. It feels like things down there are being stabilized more by inattention than actual, killiness.
Yeah, and it's really just a one-pack 40 which will halt any offensive maneuvers. I mean, we've seen that one PTRS squad go for a stroll in the lovely southern field here, just doing some forward reconnaissance. Heck, if he can get out by an enemy supply line and start shooting reinforcements, that would be a rather nasty position.
Andreyusha striking twice over here. Is he going to get another kill? I don't believe Yak 9's the G's. Yeah, okay, so Andreyusha taking out 2 tanks with 1 barrage just by sheer dumb luck. And the Goon squad coming in just to take out that poor BF 109. So that guy's desperately outclassed. But what else can you do? You have to be up there again. And the Su-85s now are engaging as well. So these guys planning to dunk on any P4s that remain. And geez, there's down to just 3 with a 4th being brought in as we speak.
Yeah. It's looking pretty nasty here up north. I mean, what is still being able, or recapturing that town with, once again, not much infantry. It's just having that long-range firepower of the S-35s and T-34s in the forest to deter those Panzer IVs, because they're just not in a good position. And one of them just died because they're in the bloody flames. Just burned out. That is...
He's been listening to too much Dragon Force, man. He's like, through the fire and the flames, we carry on. And it turns out that was not the case.
Yeah, and looking down south, the Pack 40 finally went down, and Orta's going to be doing a slow maneuver to try to get across the field and into that forest, and yeah, this is not going to be pretty for Atreides.
No, it's not going to be pretty for him, but at the same time, you wonder if he can just kind of do the same thing that is happening up north from the Soviets. Put enough forces in here to just kind of stopgap, and then push elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like you said, I actually am surprised we haven't seen more action over here in the central position, but I think part of that is because we haven't seen the necessary artillery from either side to really be aggressive.
Yeah, and both sides is very much focused on this northern flank. But down south, the main thing for Ort is, once you get to that southern area, it's light forest and heavy forest. Perfect terrain for Group Tyrannia, because he can just put all his T-34s and ambush positions in the forest to tear off infantry and any armor which tries to come in.
Very true. Very true. And they're actually approaching up here with the Commandant. While we have a second, let's take a look at the whole infantry high command. Again, here we go. Plus 40% stress resistance, 20% influence, 50% to their view range, and minus 8% received accuracy. So, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to do a whole lot for that, hellacious attack. But if you're in an infantry fight, you want to have a commandant around. It's like a leader on steroids, really.
Yeah, I think the main reason he had that guy was for the frontline influence to keep that flag in the center of the road. Which is, fantastic map design, just having a flag in the middle of a road, in the middle of an open field, just to, flip it over to his side.
Yeah, but you kind of understand that a little bit. I mean, not perfectly, of course, but a little bit. Pentagrenadier Fuhrer, in the meantime, with the Commandant right there, trying to engage the Stroke in close position, and I think this is a good way to see the Leadership Corps being, well, quite severely impacted. Another P4 going down to another rocket attack. Those PE3s have been absolutely brutal so far.
And the artillery too, like Orta's definitely taken advantage of just the indirect fire support as he does have available to him. I'm quite surprised that Andrusa has managed to do so well of knocking out, those Panzer IVs.
Almost as well as these T-34s are going to be in taking out these motorized pioneers.
Oh, the PTRS flank on the Stug. Oh.
I know. There's a piece of me right now that's just kind of like, run! But it's not going to do a whole lot. Epenstina, alas, we knew you well. No!
Oh, no!
PTRS says,
Come on. You can... You're gonna shoot?
Okay.
This isn't a desync, I swear to God. I think
No,
this is something... Are they deactivated? No, the PTRS is activated. There we go.
Okay.
They also have anti-tank grenades. There we go.
Yeah.
That was...
Painful.
That was painful to watch, but probably also very painful for the Stug.
Now, looking back to the north in the meantime, while we have stressed about that single squad, mortars pounding that town, and indeed, there's not a whole lot of Soviet material left in there just by dint of fact that you wouldn't want to be in there.
Yeah, it's not the best real estate anymore. I mean, the local area has just been completely destroyed. There's not many intact buildings left. I mean, the craters should, make good rain catchers at least, but that's really about it.
And the schools, well, the schools are not exactly the best in the dacha, if you know what I mean. But another German plane went down here in the center. I didn't see which one it was, but we had very briefly had 3 PEs. Just kind of beating on it again and again. So I'm quite curious to see what can be done to turn this back around. I don't know how Atreides is going to flip this, unless he gets a very, very, very favorable trade. He's just losing too many of his armored vehicles. Yeah,
his southern flank feels like this is going to flood open soon. I mean, we've got assist guns being brought in and more T-34s, and Stugs at close range are just not going to perform that well. He doesn't have that many great CQC infantry. He has Pioneers and some Plan Pioneers, but it's not Sturmoviki. Sturmoviki are just absolutely nasty. And if you see far down south, Khan, we have 3 Stugs being brought in, and that PTRS squad is still there.
And that's one of those things that kind of makes me a little bit disturbed occasionally, is You know he's there.
Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wasn't paying attention.
Oh, good point. Yikes.
Yeah, that's always the thing. You sometimes you have a tank that dies, it's like, oh, what killed it? Oh, I don't know. And then you look back and then, oh, I have 2 tanks dead now. This is weird. I don't think I have an anti-tank gun behind my lines. And then you have to play like guerrilla warfare, hide and seek. You don't have Apache gunships.
Absolutely right. With the Stug over here, and jeez.
Holy crap, this air power has just been on point constantly. On the PTRS down south, here we go, Khan.
Oh my gosh, can you please just engage him instead? You're gonna run into him!
And into the forest they run.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's gonna re-engage again once the Sug's lost line of sight. I mean, we have Flam Pioneers at least to try and clear him out. But still...
He's not gonna turn in time. Side shot, here comes.
No, he's holding fire. Oh! What are you doing, Stug? What are you doing, Stug? You know he has a guy, yeah. I think he's just trying to retreat, but the PTRS...
It's an attack move, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that could have gone worse for Atreides, and here comes the Flam Pioneer.
It'd be awfully close for it to be not as bad. I mean, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 2 Stugs or only 1 PTRS is not the best to be in. But at least it wasn't 3 Stugs. Or 4. That would have been stupid.
Oh my gosh, and that has certainly happened before. PTRS squad's gonna engage this motorized pioneer. Watch him take him out. Yep. Yep.
Here comes the Flam Pioneers. The gig's up. Oh no, yeah, the gig is up. Or maybe not. No. 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 He can't do anything else. He's out in the open, yeah. There we go.
Yikes, that was still painful. 2 more strokes moving in to try to suppress, maybe even take out its T-34. If they can reverse the momentum down here, that might be really, really great. But good luck clearing the strum of Vikis over here inside this forest.
Yeah. The strum of Vikis are just so bloody deadly with the satchel charge, flamethrower rombo combo. Then we've got more T-34-76s, which is going to deter the Stugs from really making any offensive plays down south. And look, it's a 15-9 now.
And the Zis is behind it, though.
Pardon?
And the Zis is behind it as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yes, they are certainly distant, but layer upon layer of just active, anti-tank material. Good freaking luck.
Yeah. Yeah, up north. I'm trying to see where he's got these flags. I mean, yeah, it's really just that northern town and then the 2 down south. That's where he is keeping that 15-9. And Atreides is doing everything he can to just trying to deter this southern push, getting some long-range AA to deter those P3s and some more Pioneer troops to try and clear through the forest. But it's going to be a deadly fight with the T-34s.
And now watch at least 2 more vehicles going down here. Because we have the light vehicle, who only needs to have a rocket within the same zip code. Wow, that's surprising. He actually didn't die.
Huh. Maybe he was so light that the rockets just went right through him.
That would certainly make sense for the Stug over here, that's for sure. But as if not to be outdone, more PE-3s are going in for exactly the same targets.
When he's really taking advantage of the air power, and I'm loving it. Like, this is really cool to see just this much heavy air power use in a 1v1. And these rocket planes are pretty damn good because they're just in and out, and they're rather accurate against a singular target.
Well, geez, even that last one right there didn't even use his rockets. He just went for a gun run and did some rather devastating effect. This one will. Rockets away? No.
Oh. What?
There's not a whole thing with an SAP rocket that doesn't default when attacking.
Maybe. That might be it.
Semi-armored.
I feel like you should be able to, yo, because it is just, a high explosive rockets still.
True. True. Hence my confusion here. There's going to be a 2 centimeter that's going to get dropped down soon enough, but still a good, couple hundred meters off. There we go. So that's... Jeez, I am really surprised. After us touting the amazingness of all this, we're not going to see a kill here on that?
Caster's Curse, slice rare.
It absolutely is. Down to the south, Sturmoviki, by the way, real quick, we're going to see... Trying to engage these veteran P-Grens. Now, guys, these are the veteran P-Grens, the whole, Kriegsmarine veteran kind of thing, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to shift up the Sturmovikis anywhere as successfully as the Sturmovikis are going to be to hold it.
Yeah, getting, like, regular Panzergrenadiers and not Pioneers in this engagement is the wrong move, for damn sure. You really just need to just bring a lot of Pioneers in this Southern Forest to clear it out. It's just because of all the Sturmovikis and other CQC troops that he's going to have to be up against, and he's going to be moving more Panzergrenadiers into the trying to raise up one Sturmoviki pin down. And if he does, bring enough Panzergrenadiers, you can take him out one-on-one, but it's still going to be a costly engagement.
That's why he's bringing the 1.5 off-map, 50 centimeter off-map, trying to suppress some of that material, but I don't know how efficient that's going to be as more and more stuff gets brought in.
Yeah. But he is getting a little bit of momentum back down south. I mean, it's only 13-11 again, and he is flipping back the flags over into his favour. But we are seeing pretty decent reinforcements here from Ort with a lot of infantry to try and slow down this offensive, or counter-offensive play, I should say.
And what's more, I feel like all it needs is one really, really good rocket run. Of course, as we're saying that, there's a lot of anti-aircraft that's showed up down here. 2 centimeters. We have 3 Flak 38s, 1 Flak 36, and while there's a couple of pom-poms on the other side, I don't know that the PE-3 should be able to get a very effective rocket run here. Of course, as I say that, and there's still a kill.
But really get out. Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another PE-3 comes in to kind of blitz the Flak 36. I always think that the Flak 38 is going to be a lot better than it is, but I always kind of forget it's really there just to kill infantry.
Yeah, and like, slower, heavier bombers. Like, in this case, against, like, fighter bombers and whatnot, you really want, like, 37mm, 40mm anti-aircraft guns, I find.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you do have the Flak 88 after you get those units out, but I believe with his stack, he only really has the option between 20mm and Flak 88 in his loadout. Which a lot of, like, German divisions, like, kind of in between light and heavy AA with no medium to fill in that necessary role.
Mm-hmm. So the 150 starting to engage, getting kind of locked in. Starting to engage the forest. Now, over at least on my side, I was kind of showing off the whole veteran Strokies over here in the meantime. So these guys, very, very similar setup over here to the here Kriegsveteran medal. And in close, yes, sir.
Yeah, it'd be a long walk or a long raid for the Kriegsmarine to go in the middle of Belarusia.
That's true. That's true. But I think at this point there was definitely a lot of, pressed into surface material. Flam Pioneers engaging a PTRS, which is probably the best thing in the world that can happen for these poor Stug drivers.
Yeah. I'll be very happy to see one less PTRS squad on the field. I really do love how Atreides has brought in this 15cm gun, because it's just perfect. All of Ort's infantry are confined in this very tight forest. And when you start lobbing really large high explosive shells into a small area, you get a lot of dead people. And that's good for him.
And that's kind of what it is. I mean, this is one of the few kind of matchups where the Soviet division doesn't have infantry, I'm not going to say value, because it always has a certain kind of value here, but doesn't have the infantry numbers. This is a matchup where actually it's Atreides who has the opportunity to kind of throw away a couple of guys here and there.
Yeah, Atreides has a really deep infantry deck with the Panzergrenadier, I say it properly, Felden Haller. Like, you get a lot of dudes. I mean, they're not the best infantry, compared to other German divisions, of course, but, you know, Flamethrower Pioneers and Panda Grenadiers are still pretty decent for what you get.
Of course, I say this, and that's when all the PE3s come in.
Holy crap. Safety in numbers.
And then 2 Yaks as well, so after the initial engagement where things did not go too well for the old Soviet Air Force, determined not to be caught out again, just absolute crazy amounts of material coming on in.
Oh, but we're gonna have a firefight in the Southern Forest show of the Flam Pioneers moving in, taking some heavy casualties to the Sturmoviki. But maybe it should be enough here for the Germans to finally clear things out. Getting some pretty... You know, he's knocking out Sturmoviki's one at a time. Getting that numbers advantage, which is definitely what he needs.
Yeah, but I feel like part of that too is just because the Strelkies are not close enough to really engage.
Yeah. Of course, one of the disadvantages between, like, German flamethrower pioneers versus Russian equivalent, that Germans still mainly have, you know, boat actions and machine guns, while the Russians just go straight out for SMGs. But any sort of machine gun, to be fair. But in these close range firefights, I'd take 9 PPSHs over an MG42.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. But unfortunately, we were not the ones, or perhaps fortunately for the world, we weren't the ones kind of running together in that munitions kind of post there.
I would have just gave everybody flamethrowers. Like, a 10-man flamethrower squad. Which I believe they have in this mod.
I did not remember that.
No.
But Black 38, in the meantime, using its primary role as just kind of blowing apart infantry. Going after the Sturmoviki Resvedka. And what am I seeing down here? Okay, so this gun's just shelling the southern positions. There's so much junk down here, just in general. In the same way that the 15-centimeter gun is really, really well placed to do some damage on the Soviets, Soviet anti-tank, Soviet artillery, very well placed to put damage in on the Krieg's veterans down over here.
Yeah, even that Maxim gun's in a really good spot to just give some cover and fire on that exposed flank on the southern area, and this is just getting into a goddamn bloodbath just in that one little forest. I mean, Ortiz is throwing everything in the kitchen sink. Same thing with Atreides, is infantry left, right, and center, satchel charges, flamethrowers, SMG fire. It's just, everyone's dying. And rockets.
Rockets the size of my house, yeah.
I know, he's... This is just, I'm just zooming in close and it just looks like bloody hell here.
I see a lot of white flags and a lot of bodies. And I don't know that I would ever want to be down there. A PE, excuse me, not PE. The IL-4 is going to make it out alive. Like I said, at this point, that guy right there has just got so much air cover, it's almost not even funny. More rocket runs to the north, and I get the feeling that at the end of everything, all of those P4s came to nothing.
Yeah.
Which is just so sad to see.
Yeah, we're in a good position. It's just very exposed, and once again, Alt's really taking advantage of using good defensive forests to position all his tank destroyers and whatnot. I just do like looking up north. It really does look like a section of the moon. It just shows incendiary craters.
Oh yeah.
Really, really nasty damage they do to the landscape.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure most of those guys weren't exactly civil engineers when they were trying to concern themselves with this.
Yeah.
And
bit off tangent. I wonder if there's like areas in Russia where it's like, you know how in some areas of France where it's just like there's still like craters.
Oh yeah.
From like the First World War. I wonder if there's areas in Russia where it's still, or Russia, where it's still just like craters and you can still like see it as like a lot of battlefield damage just from the natural environment.
I know there's that in Serbia. I don't know about Russia.
Yeah. Or like the Normandy beaches today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a tangent.
No, absolutely fine. We love tangents here. Tangents. Story tangents, we love everything. Hillside, in the meantime, though, will start to fall over here to the Russians at long last. You see a T-34 running high horse, if that's the phrase. I forget exactly what it is. move him east to west in the meantime with a horde of Skokies out in front of him. So I don't think the Germans are going to be able to hold on to this position for too much longer.
All you need to do is run T-34, and that one Pack 40 is mainly for covering the southern flank rather than the hilltop. Yo, the T-34 does go down to the Stuka strike. Finally getting a kill.
You thought he wasn't going to get a kill.
Well, he's going to get killed at least.
Semantics. Well, it's an SDKFN, the Flak 38 is kind of chasing him off, who really much cares. And down in the south, though, we are seeing a forest is being retaken. What doesn't matter, though, is the question. Well, the 15cm shells, those matter.
Yeah, it doesn't, because even though he's going to lose the southern flank in terms of flags, he still holds on to that northern town.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. It's really all that matters. You see, that entire southern flank, Khan, was just a sideshow so he can keep that northern town under control with just, like, 3 infantry units, which are very low strength.
A heck of a sideshow and a heck of a loss for that kind of opportunity here. Some of the there's the air power in general. I kind of want to see how much air power has contributed from the Soviet side until what I assume is going to be a victory over here. Because of looking at what the Germans have done, at least in the last couple of minutes, at least we get some nice kind of damage out here and there, but it's not going to be enough.
Nope. Nope. And really, I mean, Atreides has managed to at least stabilize his position down south, but now he has to start the offensive, and he only has 1 minute and 30 seconds to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only thing that's offensive right now is the opportunity that he's going to even get to it.
Yeah, and he's going to lose this central hill position very shortly, and that's pretty much the nail in the coffin.
True. True. Flak 38, though, giving us a beautiful light show as they start to chase after his PE-3s. 132mm rockets going after the Pack 40 and missing long because it's awfully close and trying to engage his own troops. Regardless, as we go 42 minutes into this game, it looks like it's going to be a kill from Fort over on Atreides. So, I guess, what's your thoughts over here of the Feldherrnhalle? I know we talked about it initially, but after seeing it in action, was this a misusage of what you see them being good at doing, or what?
I don't know, this map is... I do like this map, but it is kind of a weird map, so to speak. I'm honestly trying to think... I mean, the Panzer IVs up north in that offensive play didn't help out. Maybe some more pioneers to try to clear through the town, but even then, I feel like all had just really good positions overall, and just being able to take advantage of that southern gap and just exploiting it for so long. Maybe if Atreides played more heavy in the central hill, cleared that out, and then just try to play long-range firefights with his Panzer IVs and Stugs against SUs and T-34s, that probably could have gone a bit better. But I know that was just really good play from both sides.
Although the KD is not necessarily
what the
out.
Holy. It didn't feel that one-sided, honestly.
No, but you want to know why? It's because the P4 push up north got absolutely wrecked, and anything that flew got shot down. 85mm, 2 kills. Yak, 3 kills. I mean, and geez, look at some of the rocket planes.
Wow.
2 kills on that one. 2 kills on... Jeez, what's this next? Like, we're not seeing, pound for pound trades. We're seeing punching above their weights. Dembinski over here taking out 2 Stokes and that Pioneer. So there were some donations, that's for sure.
He got over 2 times the KD ratio.
Yeah.
In a 43-minute match. You don't see that. You don't see that.
No, you don't. And I think Atreides, definitely took it in the teeth on this one. He tried running someone new. It didn't work. Every now and again when you have that first date, you can't just kind of stick with it. You got to think about what goes on after that. But yeah.
Wow. I'm honestly... I'm like shocked at the KD ratio. It's like that. I mean, he did lose a lot of tanks, and that didn't help out at all, but he was... I mean, he lost the southern side like heavily for a bit, but he managed to counterattack and take it back. I just think, yeah, a lot of those losses must have been up north of the Panzer Force, because he was not trading efficiently there at all.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, when the P4 costs 74, yeah, 74, and he drops 12 of them in the game. I mean, that's pretty expensive right there. That's 840 points. I don't think he had a single P4 left on the map by the end of it.
Yeah,
So,
same with Stugs. He was just...
yeah, he was
yeah.
hemorrhaging. He was hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. You know, we all have those victories. We all have those defeats. Well done over here to Orfine. You know, better luck next time from Atreides. Any final thoughts as we go into these later playoffs?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing the losers brackets finals and then the actual proper finals for this tournament. So I should be expecting some more good replays shortly.
That certainly is always our goal. Until those replays come, though, I'm Conolwork.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.